Hello.
Yes,
Yes.
we can see.
Okay. Okay. And so we'll go ahead and start with blending, right? So blending is done on two different data sources. That is the purpose of blending. Otherwise, we could use a join if it is the same data source. Okay. So I'm just going and adding another data source here. One is Excel, and the other one I'll be adding is Access. I'm just going to sheet one now. Okay. Okay. So, how the blending will happen? What is the, basic requirement for blending? No, I didn't tell you yesterday.
The
Uh,
database should, the
please.
database, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, database should match
Sorry.
Okay.
and data type should, column name should match, field name.
Yeah. Column name should be same,
And
and format also should be same. Okay.
format.
Or data type. Okay, whatever you say. So, but if it is not same, you can go here and you can say change and rename, and you can rename it. And if needed, you can change the aliases also. Okay, and data type also. So that automatically it will take the blending. Now, to prove that I'm just using both the database data sources, you select columns from both data sources like this. For example, now coffee chain is selected. Okay, that has become primary. I mean, you can see that with blue tick mark. When I go to orders, you select state or something. Okay, now blending is happened already because the name is same for state. Okay, and format is same, and values will be matching. That's why it has blended on state. Okay, so when I pull state from coffee chain, you see the number of states from coffee chain is very less compared to superstore. We'll see that once. See, this is a state from, sorry, this is state from superstores, that is secondary data source here, and that's why orange tick mark is showed beside superstore. Okay, and primary is coffee chain. Okay, see that these are the states in superstore. Okay, and I'll do it in the reverse
Question.
way. Yes, sir.
Okay, so heterogeneous data source, right? If you bring it
Yes,
from two different data sources, you don't have
yes,
way to join them in, so you are blending. Basically, the concept is the join itself, but since these are from two different data sources,
yes,
you are blending it, right?
yes.
So first question is if let's say there is no common, obviously if there is no common uh, column,
Column.
it
Yeah.
won't it won't it won't show that blending key there. If it's detect common key common column between two two of those result set in this case, right?
Yes,
Obviously,
yes,
is that right?
yes, 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 yes,
Two result set, let's say person ID, text match, data type match, and then if the system will kind of go and say, okay, these are the matching two different matching uh, column, and hence I'm joining it on this one. Is that right?
yes,
That's what
yes, sir.
systems say.
Yes.
And okay, and where is this processing happening? Obviously, it's not the processing. We cannot leverage the data source itself. In this case, these are from obviously from Excel and Access. So where is this processing happening? Is it in an application
Processing,
layer?
yeah, it's happening in Tableau. It's happening in Tableau. You can record this
So if
performance also. I told you, right? So settings of performance, you
oh,
can start performance recording and you can analyze it. So SQL will be generated in the backend from both data sources. So whenever you run this visualization, it will be converted into SQL and it will be submitted to data sources, respective data sources. So that's why blending will happen at aggregate level. It will not happen at row level because since it's not joined. So after the result set is pulled out, then only blending will happen.
So it brings a result set from one data source, brings result set from other, and then the blending happens between those two, right?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the processing happens in the application. So if it's a huge, big data set,
That's right.
how would you aggregate if it's coming from a flat file, big flat file with all
Sam,
that
we
different
just
records
started the
in it?
topic. Yeah, we just started the topic.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
yeah, after
Yeah.
seeing the topic, I will clear
Sorry,
your
go
doubts.
ahead.
Okay. Okay. So, these are states from Superstore. Please remember that it's a secondary data source here with the orange check mark. So these are states from Superstore. Similarly, I will do the same thing, and again this time I'll pull states from coffee chain. Okay. Now just to see how many states are there. Okay. Apart from that, nothing else. Okay. You see that? Okay. So you're seeing anything different from the previous one? You're seeing anything different here?
Seeing null value. And
Right?
yes.
Yeah. So you're seeing null value because see now my primary source is orders. Okay. Now that is Superstore. My secondary data source is coffee chain. Okay. What is happening here is, for example, you do a left outer join. That is, if you have more number of records in the B table, that is a table which is on the right side, all those values will come as null values like this. Okay. So whereas you take here, coffee chain is primary data source and Superstore is secondary data source. Since Superstore doesn't have more states than coffee chain, it's not pulling in any null values. Okay, because coffee chain does not have more states than Superstore, that's why it's not pulling any null values here. Whereas if you see here, since it has more states here, please don't get confused. What all I want to say is, see, for example, let's take left outer join. Left outer join A, left outer join B. So what it will do? It will pull all rows from A, okay, right? And only matching rows from B. So if it has more number of rows, I mean B has more number of rows, it will pull in null values, right? So that's what is happening now. Okay. So got it, guys? Since coffee chain has more states than Superstores, it's pulling it as null values here. Okay, all null values. That means if there are any more states than this or than this, okay, so those states are going into null values. Okay. So in a way you can say this is similar to left outer join, but it's not a join. Okay. So left outer join in blending can be achieved this way. I mean, there is nothing complexity or nothing is happening here. It's just that people say it's similar to left outer join. This is all just for interviews purpose or jobs or how you understand blending. So how two different data sources, how left outer join can be achieved, you can say this. Okay. So when there are no matching records, when there is more data in B than A, so then you will see null values, right? Like this. So that's why there are some 2 to 3 states I think here. That's why it's showing null values and you see that bar is bigger than anything else. So I think 2 to 3 states should be there. Okay, otherwise we can go here. This is our coffee chain. Wait. You can go here and you can see the alias. I mean, if you have the patience, go by each state and see what are those states and you can change its aliases also. If you change its aliases, for example, Nevada is there, New Hampshire, let's note some states and see if those states are there in Superstore also or not. Louisiana, New Mexico, California. Are you noting any state which is more here?
Let me pick it.
Huh?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts is there, Missouri is there, New Hampshire is there, New Mexico, New York, Ohio, Oklahoma. Okay, same as this one. Okay, now we see superstores, how it is. Same. Here you see, right? You seeing the difference here?
Correct. Alabama.
So, right, first three are not there. First three are the big difference. And again, Georgia, I think. Georgia is also not there. Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, right? Those three are not there. And C it's there. D is not there again. Delaware is missing. District of Columbia is missing. F is there. G is missing again. So you can see that, right? So it's not some, it's a lot, almost some 10 states are missing again. This one is
So
also not there.
Copycat has less states than Orders. Orders has all the states of US, I guess.
Yes. So that's why here our state is pulled from orders, superstore, right?
Yes.
So that's why all non-matching records, superstore is on B side, right? Only matching records are pulled from there.
But it's not showing any null value because coffee chain doesn't have those states.
Those states, okay. Please don't get confused. Here coffee chain, see here superstore is secondary data source. It's B side, okay. Here it's A side, okay. It's primary data source. I interchange them so that you will understand why null values are coming. Okay. Clear? This is very important because doing blending is very easy. You can just pull in two data sources like this and you can just select columns from them. But what happens, okay, if you get null values by mistake, they'll ask you why you are getting null values. That means the data source, one data source has more number of records than the other data source. That should be here. Orders is primary, right? Orders has more number of values, whereas B doesn't have values. That's why it's showing null values. That is, coffee chain doesn't have more states. What all superstore has, right? Okay, that's why it's showing null values. So in a way, it's similar to left outer join. Okay, in a way, it's similar to left outer join. Okay. So please remember that. Otherwise, you can take this and you can say that this is right outer join, or okay, or you can say that. So any confusion here? You need one more time explanation, or you can go for it, because this is very important. See, doing blending is very easy, but why null values are coming, why so and so different situations are coming, you need to understand them. Okay. So here null values are displaying only because superstore is our primary data source. That is, you can take as A. Okay, table A. Table A, left outer join B. Here B doesn't have as many records as A. That's why all those values are showing as null values. Okay. So those values which are not there in coffee chain are showing as null values. This is similar to left outer join, but it's not a join, it's a blending. Okay, if someone asks you how can you achieve join using blending, tell them you can achieve this way. Okay, and if you interchange the just data sources, it will be right outer join. There is no big deal in it. Okay, so if you just interchange data sources, that will be right outer join, nothing else. And since this is our left outer join, so any idea how can we achieve our inner join? Any idea how you can achieve the inner join from this? One simple tip. So inner join is only matching records from both tables, right?
Yes.
Whereas left outer join is all records from A and only matching records from B. Here our A is superstore and coffee chain is B, right? So that's why it's showing null values here. This is left outer join. So from this, if I want to achieve the inner join, so what can I do?
Can you just filter it, show only the value that is common in both?
Yeah, you can do that, right? So here you go here and you see this. Okay, so in filters we have seen some filters, right? So you can do that, say exclude. So these are only matching records from both data sources, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So is my voice clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Okay. So
Nice to hear you.
that's fine. So here, if I remove null values, only these are the states which are present in copy chain, and only those matching records are pulled from Superstore also. Though Superstore is primary, now we have removed null values. It has become similar to inner join. That means only matching records from both tables, right? That means both data sources. Similar to inner join, but it's not inner join. Okay, it's not a join, it's a blending. Okay, this is how you achieve. And for example, okay, okay, now I go to just relationships here. And, I say custom. I'm just changing my relationship so that I want to show you a scenario here. Let's do this. Okay, you're seeing this? Okay, so you'll see the asterisk mark whenever there are no matching records at all. Okay, not even a single matching is there here. That's why it's showing asterisk mark here. So when your blending is not right, okay, like this, because market has different aliases, it should be joined with region actually. So that's why it's not pulling a single thing here. So asterisk will show up whenever there are no matching records, not even a single matching record. Okay. So this is one thing, please remember, asterisk will appear only when there are no matching records. This is one scenario. And you see null values when you will see null values?
Well, left outer join kind of scenario occurs between
That is
Superstore
when,
and other
yeah,
tables.
when A has more records than B. Okay. Okay. So got it there. So any idea how we can achieve? I'm just correcting this relationship to go back and see some of the scenarios here. Okay.
I have
Right.
one question over here, Ram.
Yes. Yes, Tuti.
So if we have primary over here, we have primary table as orders, our superstore. Secondary is coffee chain, okay? And since
Okay.
we are pulling states from secondary
Hmm.
source, we are seeing this null value.
Yeah.
If we are getting the state out of primary table, we won't see this null value, right?
Yes, that's what. In first sheet, that is the one, right? In first sheet, we are not seeing any null values.
Correct. But in first sheet, coffee chain is primary, orders are secondary.
Yes.
So I'm just making sure, like whatever table has more data, if you pull that particular column from that database, it won't show any null values.
Yeah.
So,
See, simple. I just interchange the tables here so that in coffee chain there are less number of states. So when only matching rows will come, right? Whenever you do that. So that's why I'm doing this. Okay, here primary is coffee chain. That's why no null values. Only matching records are coming. That is like your inner join.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So what you are thinking is right, Stuti. What your understanding is right. Okay. Yes. So moving forward. So any idea how we can achieve full outer join here? Full outer join is pulling all data from two tables. Pulling all data from two tables. Any idea about that? Just think.
You can write, you can say include instead of exclude.
Right, we can say.
Include instead of exclude. That's just a guess.
No, no, if I say include, null will come, right?
Okay.
Null will come only when you use left outer join or right outer join.
This was just a guess.
Okay. So it's yeah, that's good. I mean, your technique is good. So good thinking. But the only problem with blending is you can't achieve full outer join. That means you can't pull all records. That is, you can't dump data from to both data sources just like that in Blender. Okay, so that cannot be done. And remember, wherever you see this in relationships or whatever it is, you're not seeing a word called as blending. Relationships determine how data from secondary data source are joined with primary data source. Nothing. No blending word. Okay, that keyword is not there in Tableau. Okay, it's official Tableau word, but here in developer, I mean desktop, it's not there. Okay, Tableau developer, there is no keyword called as blending, and it will not say what join it is. Such things are not there. It's only people's assumption for the sake of interviews and jobs, how you'll understand the data in your real time. Okay, so a bit of data warehousing into Tableau. Okay, got it?
Ron,
So yes,
question.
yes.
So, okay, I got all this part.
Hmm.
I'm not seeing a use case. So, if you are bringing a data from the Excel,
Yeah,
I see not a aggregated data, obviously not the report type data, right? Like 50
yeah,
state has an
yeah, yeah,
aggregated
yeah.
metric there, and then
Yeah.
you have this 50 rows to blend in the
We
application
have
layer.
not yet seen
This
scenarios, Sam.
was the
This
actually
is
for
just
that
basics.
heterogeneous thing I put in the okay.
So
I
I'm
was
going to show you
asking
some
more
of.
from a real world.
That's what,
Okay,
Sam. It's not
okay,
complete. This topic is not yet
okay,
complete.
okay.
Okay. So these are basic things. I want you to understand how it works. First, blending. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So now we will see some charts. Okay. We have not developed any charts here. So, okay. Now
Not so much of a chart. I'm talking about the volume of the data, right? You're
that's
showing
what.
the aggregated uh, output from both of these, like 50 rows from one
Hmm.
joining to maybe 30 rows of other, right?
Okay.
Output itself in this
Yes.
case. And
Yes.
uh, yeah, are you going to show us something that at least has 1,000 row plus some other has the other data set has 1,000 as an I just want to see how the performance work in this application layer. And
Okay.
I don't know the use case of using this heterogeneous in our environment, but there was a question there, how if it's not leveraging the database performance capabilities and bringing it to the application itself, it should
Hmm.
eat up all the resources in application side and the more the volume of the data, the slower the performance is and all that kind of stuff. So the reason I'm going back again and again to the volume of the data, and you say only the aggregated part is blending. I'm not picturing in
Right.
my scenario the
Okay.
aggregated part only.
Okay. So in first 2 to 3 classes, we have seen the number of rows available in Superstore. So number of rows available in Superstore is 10,000. It's not 1,000, and copy chain is way more
No,
than
it's
that. So we are already seeing the aggregated data. You see that whenever I say pull in sum of sales, it will not pull in. You
in
see
the
that
structure
I'll just write
data case,
hello.
it is aggregated. And
Hmm.
sorry, go ahead.
Yes. So for example, I'm writing a calculation
In
here. You
case of
see this?
Excel,
Yeah. See this? The calculation is valid. Okay. If I try to use this example, sorry, you're seeing that? You're seeing that it will not allow unaggregated columns. See this? So it will sum it up.
oh yeah. This, oh, you are creating, okay. Oh, I got this part. So in case of Excel 2, you are already creating a report. It's an aggregated report, and that aggregated column now are joining in case of the blending. Since okay, yeah,
Okay.
it makes sense now. Yeah, I was lost there. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
okay, yeah.
So yeah. Let me
Sorry,
complete.
I
So
missed it. I'm not understanding.
Wait, Sudhi, it's not completed. I will start all over again. So we'll see. Okay. Okay. So what I told you in the starting of the topic is blending will combine data from both data sources at aggregate level. Okay. It will not do at row level. Okay. What do I mean by that is, for example, even if I click any measure here, you're seeing sum of sales. Okay. So even in calculations, okay, even in calculations, you see this calculation, I wrote it sales by
Yeah, I
profit.
got it. I was sleeping.
No, 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 Sam, that's fine. Stuti is there. So let me explain once again. That's fine. So because I was just going slowly, these basics are very important. You know, aggregation, this left outer join, right outer join. There will be, you will not get that information from anywhere, not even Google. It's a bit tough to get it in Google. So that's why I want to tell you what you will not get from outside. Okay, so I just want to cover those topics so that while you go into a real-time scenario, you will understand why null values are coming, why asterisk is coming. So those scenarios are not wrong at all. It's only that you are not getting matching records. That's why you're getting asterisk. You're getting null values that's similar to your left outer join. There is nothing called as full outer join. That is, you can't pull complete set of data from both data sources in blending.
Yeah.
Please remember that you can't get complete set of data from both data sources completely. Okay. So if you have 10,000 rows and 10,000 rows in both data sources, you will never ever see all 10,000 rows from both data sources unless and until there are matching records. Okay. So that's how it is. And coming to aggregation, what I told you is blending will pull data from both data sources and it will combine the output at aggregate level. That's what I told you. So what do I mean by that is, whenever you say this, it will try to sum up the calculation, right? But if you see the calculation contains sales by profit. It's not sum of sales by sum of profit. See this? So it's sales by profit. It's trying to aggregate it, okay, without even knowing to us. See this? It's trying to aggregate, it's just trying to aggregate it at the state level now, right? Now I'll create another calculation. Sum of sales, okay, divided by sum of profit. Okay. This calculation is also valid, and I'm just pulling it here. Sorry. Oh, it went off. See that now? So it's aggregated value. It's aggregated value here. Okay. So whether you aggregate it or not, by default in blending, it will try to aggregate like this. Okay. Even if you disaggregate, it might get disaggregated, but it will show wrong values. Okay. Even if you say aggregate measures, unaggregate measures like this, see that there is nothing wrong right here. Okay. So even now, if you see here, it's sum of calculation only. Got it? So in blending, though it shows it's not aggregated, but it will aggregate the data. It will display aggregated data only. Okay. So it will not show at row level. Okay. Okay. So whereas normally when you see at the state level, you'll see generally in normal charts when you're using only one data source. So you'll see at each row level data. That means the lowest level of the dimension you are using in the chart. Okay. Now, if you want to pull in a product type, fields cannot be used. Okay, 1 minute. How can I do this? Actually, what's happening, the error is I'm using a field which there is no joining. That's why I'm forced to use state again. Now I will try to use product type. Let's see what I can do here better. This is not good. Just create a bullet chart or bubbles. See that. Okay. So charts you can go ahead and develop to any extent unless and until you use a common column. Okay. Otherwise, you see this. Initially, when I didn't use product type, when I didn't use state, it's saying there are no matching records. In such scenarios, for example, now I'll try to develop a chart here. You see this. I'm using sales from coffee chain, and if I use region here, it's saying fields there are no matching records because region, it's not mapped on region, and if I use this column, it might not pull data properly, right? It's joining on state. In such scenarios, you can go here, you can change your relationship so that region and market will get joined. This region here. Okay, now you're seeing the chart. So like this. Otherwise, you can go here and say pie. Now you can see it. This is pie chart. And if you increase size, it will be good. Right? Now pull it on labels. Apart from color, where is region here? See that sum of sales also in label, it will be good. In fact, it's coffee chain less sales. Okay, so and of course you know, right, you can pull in labels anywhere like this. Okay, so all this, it's all like normal chart now, but remember that it will happen at aggregate level. It's not a disaggregate. Even if you say disaggregate here, aggregates always aggregate only. Okay. Okay, so you can develop any number of charts like this. I mean, just like your normal charts. So what all blending happens is it happens at aggregate level. So you have to remember that. And while developing charts, since it's bar chart, with those null values and asterisks are showing up properly. But whereas here, you see this. So here null values and all might show or might not show since. Okay, so I'll try to develop another chart here. Maybe bullet chart. Because ideally blending is used for bullet charts because so that you can compare measures from different data sources. This is coffee chain sales. Now that I have to change the relationship. 1 minute. To display the state, I'm just changing this relationship here. Okay. Okay, for each state. And you can use a bullet chart to compare it properly now. Okay, there's just one sales now, that is from Superstore. I go back and I use this sales also. Okay, so you can compare things like this. Okay, so that you see that against threshold. Okay, you can fix the threshold for one measure and you can compare things, because bullet chart is meant for comparing things with threshold values, that is your goals. So that's why blending can be used. So blending most probably is used to compare, I mean, use dimensions from one and measures from different data source so that you can compare things generally. So in real-time scenarios, how the requirements comes is, for example, you might be using a Teradata data source only, but suddenly what happens is one column data or some column data will be missing in your data source and you want to use it from Excel or Notepad or such situations. In such situations, blending will be helpful. Okay. And apart from such scenarios, if you want to compare values, measure values or such things from two different data sources, in such scenarios also it will help out. Okay, so blending will help out to compare things. Okay, to compare sum of sales from coffee chain to sales from Superstore. If your customer has business from two different domains like coffee chain and Superstore, and whereas one can be furniture and one can be retail. So one can be oil business or something, or other can be retail business. So in such scenarios, you can compare sales from both different data sources and you can present to your customer. Okay, in such scenarios, blending can be used. Okay. Yes, any doubts?
No, no, no doubts.
Okay, 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 that's fine.
So
So,
Ram, in Tableau,
yes, yes,
blending is nothing. Uh, okay, just a quick thing for my
yes,
understanding. In Tableau,
yes.
blending is equivalent to in Informatica. We have like this joiner transformation, which joins a different data source.
Okay, okay.
Is
Yeah,
that
it
true?
might be. It might be, but you have to understand that is for ETL and this is for I mean this is for reporting. And before joining also, I told you right before doing blending, I told you it's blending is there in almost any reporting tool. Not only reporting tool, visualization tool also. It's there from a long time. Okay, in different tools it's called as different with different names like combine, merge, more such things. Okay, so concept varies a bit, but this concept is always there. Okay. It's
Okay.
only that in Tableau it's a bit easy, okay, because you're just dragging and dropping things and you're just pulling your charts, right? In some tools you have to write a lot of coding, and some tools it's very tough, and some tools it's almost impossible to do. Concept is there, but impossible to do. So in such scenarios, okay,
Thanks,
okay,
Ram.
okay. So now we have seen now we have been pulling from two different data sources. Right now I will pull in only one data source right now, okay. Subcategory. Okay. So whenever you right click on your measure access, only measure access, okay, you'll be seeing something called as add reference line. Okay. Whenever you right click your measure access, you'll be seeing something called as add reference line. Not only here, okay, not only here. You take this, I'm just clearing all these sheets now. Okay, let's back normal. Not only in such scenarios, take in order date also. I'll try to display more data here. Okay, better. Sorry, we'll see the continuous one. So even if you right click here on your measure access, you will be seeing something called as add reference line. Okay, add reference line is when you want to compare your data against any standard or any aggregated line, like for example you're seeing here it's average, right? It's average, minimum, maximum, all those lines are here. As of now I'm adding average, and that average is on measure. It's always on measure, sum of sales, okay, and that line can keep varying. That's not a problem. For that you can create a parameter, that's not a problem, but it's on measure only. Okay, even if you create that parameter will also be on this measure only. Okay, and computation, it's a label here. Okay, you seeing that average keyword here, so to remove that you can say none. As of now I'll keep it so that you'll see that this is formatting. I think I did not tell you. Okay, so this lines, line color and all those things. So I'm just clicking OK. I'm just using line as of now, and it's per pane. Okay, give me a minute, I'll explain what is entire table, what is per pane, what is per cell. Okay, 1 minute. We're seeing that this is average. Okay, average line is added, and this is average all this data. It's not just this is starting point, this ending point, you know, right, how average will be. So this average is that, and here average is shown. See that is the average value. Okay, and now coming back, we have more in reference lines. Okay. Now I need to pull in category. Okay, so guys, please observe, each and every bar is called as a cell here. Okay, each and every individual bar is called as a cell or data point, one data point, or you call it as a cell. Okay, please remember it as cell only because it's a type word. each data, okay, each bar here, and group of bars in within the group, like you're seeing here, right? It's called pane here. It's called as a pane here, okay. Whereas this whole thing is called as table or window, okay. This whole thing is called as table, okay. So for calculations, you need to understand this. This is very important. This sub part, that is group of bars, is called as pane. This whole part is called as table or window. Okay. Okay. So here, whenever you say add reference line, only here you add anywhere. That's not a problem. You can add here also. Okay. Reference line is just to compare things with some standard line. That's it. Apart from that, nothing else. Okay. This I'm adding with respect to pane here. Okay. Say I'm clicking OK. You see that, right? How many panes we have here? 3 panes. Technology is one, office supplies is one, and furniture is one. For each pane, there is a separate line here. This one is here, this one is here, and this one is here. Since Shades has huge amount of bar here, it's a very lengthy bar. That's why average is here. And of course, here there are 2 big bars. One, machines, accessories, and phones has huge amount of data. That's why this average line is showing well ahead. Okay. Though office supplies has huge amount of data, bars are not that big, that's why it has gone low. Okay. So you can compare like this things. I mean, you can say my appliances sales is way more than my average sales throughout this year. Such things, right? You can analyze your data like that, or you can say, you can add more lines and say, you say that per pane only I'm adding as of now. You can say some constant line or a median or such things. Median and average will be same in this situation. See that? Median, what is median? In box plot we have seen what is median. So median is center part, right? That center part of the complete data set. So that is median here. You're seeing average here. Okay. So if you can understand that what is median, what is average, you can compare things like this. Okay. And you can add any number of reference lines like this. There is no limit to it, and we have almost 3 and 7 lines here. Okay, you can add 7 lines here. I'm adding minimum also. That's not a problem. Okay, so this is a minimum here. So the minimum value is this one. That's why minimum value is here. For this minimum value is this one. So that's why minimum line is here. Okay, so in order to remove that, in order to remove that naming convention, you can say edit minimum. You see that now minimum keyword goes. For that you remove, you say none. Okay, that minimum keyword is gone, but line is still showing. Okay, so you can add any number of lines like this. Okay, so that that's not a problem. Just to compare things, or just to understand how your data is performing with respect to average sales or with respect to your competitors or such things. Okay, now I'm going to edit these lines. I'm just going to create parcel. Okay, only minimum parcel. So if I do this, what will happen? It will show everything as a minimum value because there is no comparison. If it is parcel, for each data point it is the minimum and it is the maximum. That means that line will remain same like this. You're seeing every line, every cell there is a line. So every bar there is a line, every cell there is a line, because that is the minimum for it and that is the maximum for it. Only one bar. We are not comparing with overall pane, or we are not comparing with overall table. Okay, now I will edit another line here. I will edit average line. I will keep it overall table, entire table. I am keeping it entire table. Okay, so let's display that. So where is average line here? Here, right? Only one line is here now. Remaining lines are medians. Those are medians. Don't get confused. Those are medians. And median is for pane, and minimum is here. Okay, minimum is per cell and average is per table. Okay, guys, you need more explanation to this. I mean, see, there are a lot of things I will show you ahead. Still there is a lot, but before going further, you understood what is this reference line?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So not only this, okay, you can go ahead and change it saying band. Okay, band mostly by default it will take minimum and maximum. You're seeing that shaded area in the background, right? So it will just shade that area. Apart from that, nothing else. You see, since we have an average line always there, so I'll just say average. See, you see that? But it's for entire table. Okay. If you want per pen, you can do that. That's not a problem, right? It's varying because average line. I've said average line here. Okay, and this is maximum. Maximum is end of the bar. So maximum is this one, right? So this average is here, right? You can compare things like that. Okay, and band distribution is there like this, 60%, 80%, and you can go ahead and add to any values, right? The 60%, 80%, as we have seen in box plot also, right? So you can add 40, or you want to add 90, you can go ahead and do anything here. Lot of options are there here.
And it's
Okay,
also
you're seeing
Gantt chart also, right?
what is the thing?
This 60%, 40% in Gantt chart also, right?
Not Gantt chart, Stuti, it's a bullet chart.
Oh, bullet chart.
Okay, it's only bullet chart. It will not be shown in Gantt chart. Okay, so you see here. 1 minute, I will show you this one. You're seeing it, right?
Yes.
80%, 60%. Okay, please remember that. That's where. Okay, so you can do that here also. Okay, so if you want to compare, now it's 40% is this one, this much distribution. Okay, 60% is this, 80% is this, such way. Okay, so entire table. What you need to understand, most important thing here is what is table, what is pane, what is cell. Okay, and box plot we have already seen. You not see again. So that's how it is. Adding reference lines, or we are not seeing trend lines. I'll show you trend lines also. You can do that to any chart, almost any chart. Reference lines can be added to any chart. Okay, reference lines can be added to any chart. The only problem is you can't add trend lines. Okay, trend line is different and reference lines is different. I'll show you here trend lines. You're seeing that one is hyperbolic. I mean, one is linear and one is parabolic. I mean, you not understand all these things, because these trend lines will not many people will use. I'll remove these options here. I just need to click exact line. I'm removing it. Otherwise, I'll keep it. You see, this is hyperbolic, I think. So sales, you see that. So this is how the calculation goes, and this is the value. Okay. So this is kind of very in-depth analysis. You need not understand all those things. Just remove that line because it's very tough to understand sometimes, you know. So we'll just keep normal trend lines. Linear, logarithmic, exponential, polynomial, right? These are types of trend lines, whichever you want. Okay, this is linear, and I click on this. It's average. This is also linear. 1 minute. I'll remove some lines here. It's not going. Sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't go. Okay. So until 8 version, we were seeing only this trend line, only linear trend line which is in between. Whereas these new trend lines are coming in 9, by default they are coming. So we need to remove them. So it's, one is hyperbolic, I mean logarithmic, exponential, those things are there. So trend lines, you know what is a trend line, right? So trend line is to just analyze your data, how it is going from last 3 years. And if you see this trend line, it's too many lines, you want to remove some lines. It's not happening. So So when you, by using trend line, you can analyze your trend here. How your data is performing from last 3 years or 4 years or such things. But what is the problem with trend line is you can't add trend line wherever you want. Okay. So I'm clicking a trend line here. You're seeing that a trend line cannot be computed because trend line happens only with respect to what time period. Okay. Trend line can be added only when you have date, right? Trend means you say, right, currently this trend is running, currently Android trend is running because it's from last 1 year, 2 years, most people are using Android. It's with respect to time. That's why trend lines can be added only mostly in line charts only. Okay, you can't add trend lines anywhere. You can add reference lines anywhere, any chart, but adding trend lines is not possible. Okay, reference lines anywhere means you can't add reference lines to a pie chart. Okay, please please remember that you can't add a reference lines to pie charts or bubble graphs. Maybe it will display, but it will not display properly. Okay, so in such scenarios you can't, because you need to have a proper data. Display should be proper like this. Okay, so in charts where there is no access, in pie chart there will be no access. If you remember, pie chart and bubble graph or such things, there will be no access at all. Okay, so reference lines can be done only from measure access. It cannot be done from dimension access. If you see in pie chart, if you remember pie chart and bubble graphs, there are no access to it. 1 minute, I will try to show you. You see that there are no access here. That's why you can't add reference line. Okay. Okay. And forecast, we have seen a forecast. I think there is no big deal here. So if you just click on forecast here, so forecast is disabled here. 1 minute, I'll remove the trend lines and I will show you. Exactly. Okay, let's go. Still it's not coming. Maybe I don't have data here. Mm-hmm. 1 minute. Okay, now it's available. You see that forecast for next year, that is data is there only up to 2013 end, but 2014 and 2015 it's trying to forecast. The shaded part is forecast. Okay, but for forecast you should have enough information, that is data. If data is not there, it's a bit difficult to forecast. Okay, whenever you see a forecast, you'll see a line like this. Okay, arrow like this. Okay, you're seeing that. Okay, that arrow shows forecast and it will be shaded part. Okay, please remember reference added only on measure axis, and trend lines can be added only line charts or such, only where date fields can be used. Okay. Okay, anything else, guys?
Well, that's pretty cool. So this is the one that you just saw, forecast, is it looking at the last 3 years worth of data and then predict
Yes.
on its own?
Yes.
Oh,
okay. Anything else, guys?
I think we have good amount of information today.
Okay, I hope you understood and practice. Please, if you don't understand, please tomorrow ask me. I will tell you again. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.